If you've never heard of The White Lotus, I'm going to give you 3 key reasons why you should watch it right now. First, Jennifer Coolidge.
I'm a very needy person, and I am deeply, deeply insecure.
Second, Murray Bartlett.
Yeah, you're gay, right? Yes, I'm gay.
And third, Jennifer Coolidge.
I dreamt that I was on the top of this beautiful mountain range in Asia.
Oh, that's cool.
And I had a cyanide pill.
I'll keep this video brief and spoiler-free in a genuine hope that you will go out and watch this show after. Seriously, I first uploaded this video a little over a year ago on the Two Left Thumbs channel, and now that I'm moving it over here, it's won all these awards and gotten such crazy recognition, but I know the vast majority of people don't give a damn about awards shows, so maybe there's a chance you still haven't heard about it. I did just find it so hilarious that I want to share it with as many people as possible, and I just learned this anthology series is returning later this month. The first season was such wall-to-wall insanity, so much fun, and it really actually did have something to say. So I'm very curious to see how they develop this concept further. I always love recommending anthology series to people because they can invest exactly as much time as they want. You can watch a complete story without worrying about keeping up with it the following year. And even if the show crashes and burns in later seasons, it'll never affect your enjoyment of that isolated season. The Haunting of Hill House is one of the best shows I've ever seen. I feel it falls into this category, and I will recommend Fargo any day of the week. That is some of the best anthology-style TV there is. And now I would say The White Lotus belongs on my personal list of best of all time.
I love you. I love you too.
Listed as a satirical comedy drama anthology series. Right now there are just 6 contained episodes, so your time investment isn't that huge. Be aware that this comes with a fairly heavy R rating. There is plenty of sex, drugs, cussing, and graphic imagery.
I want to get you naked. What do I gotta do?
If you want some early indication of what you're in for, listen to this soundbite of the show's opening theme. Probably can't share much. I'm already gonna have to fight a copyright claim for that small segment. But that kooky, off-kilter, unhinged, yet mellow jungle funk EDM practically creates a new genre, and is up there, in my opinion, with the top theme songs of all time in terms of its ability to perfectly capture the tone of its show. If you want to know where I'm coming from on that, I'd say some of the best of all time include Dexter, Game of Thrones, Hannibal, and of course, Macron 1. Globally, everyone's top pick. I watched this opening sequence before each and every episode, even when I watched several episodes back to back. I struggled to find the vocabulary strong enough to describe this single theme, but after just one episode led in with this, I know you'll also be convinced that it fits perfectly. If there are awards given for this sound design and theme creation, give them all to this one. The White Lotus follows 4 separate storylines, located simultaneously within the White Lotus Resort in Hawaii. We have a rich family on vacation, a newlywed couple on their honeymoon, an aging, insecure woman here to spread her mother's ashes, and the resort manager fighting to maintain his 5 years of sobriety while surrounded by demanding guests. It doesn't quite build to the grand climax of crisscrossing stories like Guy Ritchie's classics Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels or Snatch, where every story coalesces into one giant bomb at the end. But instead, these storylines intersect at regular intervals, constantly affecting each other's days in ways they barely even take notice of, which really is the crux of this show. These are selfish, self-involved people, all of them.
Paula was disturbed by the entertainment. It bothers her to watch Hawaiians have to dance for a bunch of white people.
Oh. I think it's just a way for them to honor their culture.
Rich, privileged people who utterly fail to see how good they have it at every turn. You could honestly retitle The White Lotus to White People Problems, and that would fit quite well. The series opens with the end of everyone's stay and a tease that there has been a death at the resort.
Our guide told us someone was killed there. Well, other than that, did you have a good vacation?
Leaving the viewer with a mystery element that they're left to unravel through the run of the show. You'll often forget about it entirely, creating this persistent tension and unease. I'll go more in depth and still spoiler free on the appeals of this show in a minute, but first want to share a bit about who made this show. The White Lotus comes from writer, producer, director, and series creator Mike White, which I have to wonder if he named the series after himself, but I think that's kind of a coincidence because it's more about white people. He's probably most well known as this guy from School of Rock, as well as being a writer on that movie. Any reality show buffs may have also seen him on The Amazing Race and Survivor.
Everybody in my business wants the Oscar. It's like, you're losers. Like, I want to win Survivor.
Looking at his filmography, it appears he had a few slow years, writing for The Emoji Movie, Pitch Perfect 3, and an attempted TV series version of School of Rock. Wait, I'm just now learning this show had 3 seasons? I'm not surprised the show exists, but it managed to hold on for 3 seasons? How? I digress. I love seeing someone well established in their career tap into something deep down and personal and suddenly produce what may very well become the defining creation of their career. Mike White is 50 years old, and this is my favorite thing he's ever done. Gives you a lot of hope as a creator. Looking back into the show itself, let's talk about this unreal cast. The White Lotus assembled old favorites of mine who I feel we don't see enough of, like Steve Zahn, Molly Shannon, Connie Britton, and even Uncle Rico. I have loved Steve Zahn for years and years, and loved seeing him in a prominent role as the awkward dad with zero self-awareness who's constantly putting his foot in his mouth.
Get manhandled by some random dudes.
The cast really is stacked through and through. We have a few strong, recognizable B-listers, and some major up-and-comers. Alexandria Daddario and Sydney Sweeney are great to see. Fred Hechinger really surprised me as the awkward, reclusive teenage son, and Jake Lacy gave his best ever performance as this petty, controlling, mama's boy, rich kid, man-baby husband.
Oh, Mr. President, good morning. Did you not see me in the restaurant just now? I'm sorry? I'm waving to you, I'm shouting you, I know you saw me.
I was sent to fetch a bag.
You looked right at me and you kept walking.
He is the most despicable character, and that's not a critique, it's fully a credit to the artist formerly known as Plop. Shane will now be his standout character in my mind. I had never seen Murray Bartlett in anything before, but his performance as Armand, the resort manager, was the most important casting. All events at this resort inevitably filter through him, and his ability to play the placating, weary, forced positivity centerpiece of this show tied the whole thing together. He was an absolute riot in every scene, and I cannot wait to see more from him after this.
Sometimes just watching them eat every night makes me want to gouge my eyes out.
And no, I'm not forgetting Jennifer Coolidge, not by a long shot. I felt the need to single her out of the pack, as she was the most delightful surprise. I mostly know Coolidge from American Pie, Legally Blonde, and an endless parade of cameos, usually with the reaction of, oh hey, Jennifer Coolidge is in this. She's funny. I kind of think that's probably how most people would respond. She's been this sort of in-joke around Hollywood for years. It's almost a cheat code for an easy laugh, and she seems to have really accepted her place within the comedic scene. So I've always really enjoyed her self-awareness, even if the reaction is just kind of always, oh, nice. She's a welcome addition in almost anything, and is usually a fun featured appearance.
Look at your skin! Oh my gosh! You have the most beautiful skin I've ever seen.
But I don't know if she's ever really been a true standout, or if she's ever really been given that opportunity.
And what's weird is I miss my mother, even though she was a big jerk.
Mike White somehow pinpointed the exact root of Jennifer's comedy stylings and used her in the show in such a perfect way. This grieving, unpredictable, airheaded woman is a perfect combination of Coolidge's talents and is easily my favorite performance she's ever given. Every sigh and squinty-eyed look had me giggling.
Jeez, what?
The show will hopefully get showered in nominations, and I fully expect to see Coolidge nominated for a supporting performance in a miniseries. Although that also comes with the unfortunate prediction that we're going to have to endure 10,000 obvious Golden Globe puns.
You want to open it?
You want me to?
Yeah.
I have the nails.
Yeah, get after it. You got the globes, too.
I see you award show presenters. I know your game. Coming back to this a year later after the Emmys, it's actually amazing how many nominations and wins this show had. It's an HBO show with a lot of big names attached. I knew it would get some attention, but holy cow did it ever come out strong. Just like across the board praise. And I can't believe how excited I was to see both Murray and Jennifer win.
And thank you to my amazing team. Wait, hold on. No, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and I'm full.
That went way beyond where I thought this would reach, and that's so exciting. And as far as I saw, no one made any cheap jokes. There's so little I can share about the show without spoiling anything, so I'll play it safe and talk about things quite broadly. I do want to say that I'm torn on the Latin filter. This show isn't actually in Mexico or Latin America or any country where this is typically used. It carries a light bit of controversy, and so I'm not sure if it should ever really be used, but in some weird way that maybe fits the show thematically. I believe it was instead meant to be used here to create a feeling of relaxation and a dreamlike quality, but it could be a little distracting regardless. If someone were to tell me that it was used intentionally to lean into the themes of white people are oblivious, then I would fully buy into that. If that was the intent, then yeah, that's kind of brilliant. Really, the center of the show is white people suck, and rich white people especially suck. You might hear that and think, I'm white, I don't want to get shit on. No, it's not attacking you personally. It's satire. It's putting a magnifying glass up to it and forcing you to confront it.
But he is a straight, white, young man, and nobody has any sympathy for them right now. And I just feel like we should.
All of these characters are constantly flaunting and disregarding their privilege, while spouting platitudes about them not being a part of the problem. As a white man myself, I watched the show, cringed along the way thinking, well, at least I'm not like that.
I mean, for years, I was the good guy, you know? I was the one in the room saying, like, hey, that's not cool, to all the chauvinists and bigots.
I am certain I have my own deep-seated biases that I need to work at daily to overcome and better myself, but nothing like that.
What's it like, you know, being fucked up the ass?
But the deeper into the show you get, the more we peel back the layers of these characters, revealing more of their blind spots, their vanity, their arrogance and selfishness, even the ones we thought might have been good.
That family is so obnoxious. The mother is a bitch, and the daughter is a bitch also.
And the more overt it becomes, the more I was left questioning how big a part of the problem am I? This show specifically avoids showing consequences, especially when they affect anyone beyond this circle of privileged resort guests. It's going to feel like story threads are dropped completely. And they are, but that's the point. The moment it stopped directly affecting these people's day, it is dropped from their memory forever, never to be paid any mind again. Their problems are self-contained and pointless to anyone outside their bubble. Similarly, they don't really let anyone else's problems come into theirs. Their vapid livelihoods leave them utterly blind to those around them, as they constantly disrupt the lives of others. I think that's the beauty of this show. You get to enjoy one of the best comedy shows I've seen in ages, of unique and often interwoven storylines, with an all-star cast playing despicable characters, while asking important questions through satire and encouraging earnest discussion on white privilege, identity politics, classism, and economic status.
Mom, good news. I've been looking around the hotel, and it seems like all of the white, straight men are doing just fine.
This show makes no effort to solve those problems, and instead depicts them in a realistic manner. That a group of white people could vacation on an island that they took from the native population, then turning it into a tourist attraction that is unaffordable to the locals, and instead heavily employs them, granting them the honor of entertaining those who stole from them on top of that very same land.
Obviously, imperialism was bad. Shouldn't kill people, steal their land, and then make them dance.
It is a horrible system of exploitation and dependency, and it's lost on all of them. That sounds like heavy subject matter, but it's almost all subtext, primarily presenting it as a straight comedy. So I hope you have some butt-gusting laughs, but also take a moment to think about what you're really seeing. With all that in mind, I ask that you now please go watch The White Lotus. If you watched this whole video and liked what I had to say, then maybe follow me on Letterboxd. I log all the movies I watch there, give them all a rating out of 5, and share my thoughts when I have them. I'll have a link in the description. Back when uploading the first version of this video, there was only rumors that Jennifer Coolidge would be returning, which was something I did really want to see, but didn't think would be the spirit of an anthology. But oh man, having this singular character tie the series together going on these global vacations, that's genius. I'm absolutely on board for more of that. But in my excitement for what could come next, I put forward my own top choice of someone I wanted to see featured in The White Lotus 2. I'm gonna let that clip play out now, even though we know it's no longer true. As I'm wrapping this video up, I want to throw this out there. They have already confirmed that there will be a season 2. It'll for sure be an entirely new cast, possibly a new location, whether that's another White Lotus resort or something different entirely, simply remaining true thematically rather than literally. But my number one wishful casting would be to see Jack Black in season 2. After a decade of Kung Fu Panda, Goosebumps, Jumanji, and other family-friendly movies, I'm ready to see something less kid-oriented from him. And he specifically worked with Mike White on Orange County and School of Rock. Combine his acting and comedic chops in a more adult-oriented, character-driven series, and I think it could be one of the most memorable performances of his career. So that's something I just hope we get to see. Kind of just a random prediction. So unfortunately, Jack Black is obviously not cast in season 2, maybe a season 3, you never know. But I am really interested to see choices like Michael Imperioli featured in a show like this. I thought that was a pretty surprising casting. And then Aubrey Plaza, I love her, and she is definitely going to be a good fit for this series. The first season had plenty of unexpected and brilliant castings, so I'm really curious to see what other sort of new up-and-comers they choose to feature. I should probably end the video now before I get too deep into these hypotheticals of the second season. I hope you check out some other videos here on the channel. They're not all reviews, but I always try to look at things that I want to talk about, which usually means they take on more of an optimistic spin. So I hope through this channel I can share some other things that I love, and we can just nerd out over them a little bit together. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.